everyone. My name's Carolyn Goodridge from Art Impact International. We have with us today an outstanding artist from Australia, and he also lives in LA. His name is Benjamin L.M. Benjamin, welcome.
Hello.
Great. We're going to have an excellent artist talk. You have a show, a solo exhibit that's in our virtual gallery entitled Spiritual Chaos, right?
Yes.
So later on we'll do a little screen share with the show. But I have a few questions for you now. What other jobs have you done other than being an artist?
Embarrassing jobs, just no skills, no qualifications jobs,
Okay.
washing dishes,
Okay. I've done that.
stuff like that, what else? I mean, oh God. Or one of the only good jobs I've had is managing a record store with really rare vinyl and really great music collection. But retail just,
Okay.
it sounds good. Music sounds good, but people seem to I thought music would make everyone happy.
Right.
No, everyone complains still,
Okay.
So it doesn't really matter if you're washing dishes or selling music. People seem to complain, so
Okay.
they're all the same.
Well, how did you land on art? I mean, why art?
I really loved doing it as a kid. I used to, copy cartoons. I loved cartoons. That was my first thing of art that I loved, and, I mean, people never say that, but that's pretty much what pop art is. It's cartoons,
Okay.
But, yeah, but, I always found as a kid when I did do drawings or showed my art skills, people would say, "Oh, that's pretty good," But when I played sport, why I took to sport over art is because when I played sport and kicked goals or made runs or had stats, people were crazy for it. They went like, "Wow," So I sort of thought, as a kid, I just assumed that sport was more important than art because it was a better response.
Ah, excellent. Okay, interesting. Well, now I know you told me that a New York gallery named your type of art symbolic expressionism.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what do you think of that? Symbolic
I like it.
expressionism.
I like it.
Okay.
I like it. Even though I don't really know what categories are of now. I only know what categories were in the past in art history.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really know what I fit in with it, or if I fit in with anything. Hopefully, I don't fit in with anything. But I find, even though it's symbolic, I find what I'm trying to do is be absolutely clear as possible.
Okay.
To transfer what I'm getting at with the meaning to the viewer so that it adds to their life.
Okay. Understood. Now, what's the most challenging aspect of painting for you, of being a symbolic expressionist painting? What's the most challenging?
Getting the point across, because I just pick the title first and then build the drawing around that, and the painting is exactly as the drawing is. So basically trying to put something that's a lofty idea, or always trying to make it universal, something that doesn't matter about race, religion, country, sex, doesn't matter.
Okay.
I want as many people to get to it. So I'm trying to come up with something that's very universal and very generic's a bad word, but like something that's, a lot of people can get something out of, and to put that you know, it's quite often a lofty concept or a couple of concepts rolled into one, and to get that into, you know, to get that idea into words can be tricky. To get that idea into words and then into a picture is sometimes tricky. Okay. So you sometimes have to use things that wouldn't necessarily be obvious to the theme. Okay. Which I love, because to me, I draw a lot from writers, from musicians who write lyrics. You know, that you just pull from wherever to suit what you're trying to say. Doesn't matter if it's everyday. Doesn't matter if it's lofty and mysterious and spiritual. Whatever suits it. So getting that balance right, that's the tricky thing.
Ah, okay. How has your practice changed over time? Have you always been here with the symbolic expressionism, or did you start out differently, or did you have any kind of a progression?
Yes. The first ones are very non-committal, basically, because I was like scared to make for one, I was scared to make a painting, but then when I actually did make a bloody painting, I was scared to put figures in there, like animals, you know, to see what I drew, you know, what I painted as a actual figure. So if you see the very first series, they're called Spark, because it's in my first book called Spark. It's poems and 8 paintings. They're all like stained glass windows.
Oh. Okay.
That was the idea of it, to paint a series of paintings that looks like stained glass windows without the lead black lines. Right. You know? So yes, it has progressed. So being non-committal and having very you know, vague titles about what it meant to me. Now it's, you know, more obvious, and I put my heart on my sleeve more now.
All right. You're being real. You're being real for us, right?
And rougher brushstrokes too. It's more primitive now. Back then it was very careful, very neat, you know, which was my way of procrastinating before I put them on the walls. I was worried about what people would think. Right. Now I don't care what people think. I don't care what people think. So that has helped me loosen up and be more primitive and wild.
Okay. Well, how would you describe yourself? Primitive and wild, or how would you describe yourself?
I don't know. It depends who you ask. I don't know. I think there's a bit of both in there. There's a very spiritual side, but there's a very animal side. But I think most importantly is, you know, a very strong desire to stay alive and not get too wild, you know what I mean? And also, you know, the whole, you know, what it's like with anything creative, you know, like the drive, you know, you can become obsessed with your dream, you know, to an unhealthy extent. And I don't want that to be the case. I want to be healthy, and I want to, you know, go have a goal for the future, but I also want to really enjoy now. So to me, I'm mainly living in the now. Okay. And, you know, harnessing the spiritual and the animal together.
A balance.
That's right.
All right. Well, is artistic life for you lonely? And if it is, how do you counteract that?
It is lonely, and you know, like sometimes I am a bit envious of bands, and I see them get up there with 4 or 5 people, you know, and you know, it's like a team, you know, it's like a sports team, you know, which is where I come from. So it's bizarre for me to be a soloist, because I'm not really like that. I'm a team player, and I like the team thing, you know. Sorry, there's a bug here. Dead. So it's lonely, but actually I enjoy the solitude of it also. You know, I enjoy the fact that I don't have to consult with anyone to come up with something. Everything is pure solo.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
And so therefore there's no hold-ups. There's no, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? You know, like there's no compromise. There's no, you know, let's think about it. It's just goes straight out.
Right.
It's a very quick process, and I like that.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever, being that you said you're like thinking more in teams, have you ever thought of doing collaborative paintings, or not really?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'd like to do that. The couple of times I've actually mentioned to other artists, you know, it just hasn't gone anywhere.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
obviously I thought it was easier. It's easier said than done. So maybe in the future. But I really like even though I was never a fan of Andy Warhol's stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I do like the fact that him and Basquiat did a series together.
Okay.
So it's a combo of the two of their art. You know, I'd like to do that with someone else.
All right.
I like that. You know, so you don't have full control over the whole canvas. You know, you have 50% control. You know.
Right. I've done one in my life so far.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd it go?
Yeah. Very good, actually, very good. I think you just have to find the right collaborator, you know.
Yeah.
And like you said, it will take a while because you have to have that synergy. But think about it, since you have that affinity for team, you know, that it might be more fun than you think, but you probably do have to really go out there and tell other artists, hey, you know, bug them. Well, what role does artists play in society for you? What role does the artist have in your mind?
Well, you know, it's strange now because art, you know, is less important than it used to be in society's terms. You know, like so, and now, you know, like going from being just a fan of art to now doing it full, you know, all the time, like I don't have as much time for it because I'm always doing it, and when I'm not doing it, I want to be a vegetable and watch a bit of TV and then go to sleep and get decent sleep so I can get up and do it again. You know what I mean? So, I'm a worker. You know, regardless of what it is, I'm a worker and I like doing it every day. You know, but I don't know. I just find I wish that art meant more to me now, whereas, and I'm definitely not like a nostalgic retro guy, but what was happening between 1880 and 1950, to me, that was really potent. You know, they were artists speaking their mind, you know, blazing trails, like, you know, like far out stuff, you know, whereas now I find it's a bit safe. You know, the fact that abstract art's taken over is, to me, is an abomination for art history. You know, the fact that Marcel Duchamp was having a joke on the art world by creating the ready-made urinal that's now been taken on into art history. That's terrible. That should never be taken on. That's a joke. That was a joke. You know, like his paintings are amazing. Duchamp is one of the best. You know, like incredible painter, but he did the ready-made stuff as a joke on the art world because they wouldn't let him into the salon. You know, in France. You know, so the fact that these, to me, bad parts of art history are now popular, I find it hard to get into. You know, I find there's no meaning in it. You know what I mean? You know, I'm not hearing artists speak their mind.
Okay. Well, what do you like about your artwork? What do you like most about it? What are you most proud of?
That I do that I speak my mind. You know, that I'm saying exactly where I'm at in that stage of life, and I'm opening it up to make it so people can get something out of it. I'm creating what I want to see.
Okay.
You know,
So you would say that what makes you, if I asked you what makes you angry, it would be the weird parts of art that's going on now that's now mainstream? What would you say makes you most angry now?
I'm not angry about it. I'm still glad that people do art, you know, like compared to crime or being a drug addict, art's a really good thing, you know, like I still think it's constructive, you know, it's no different. And I don't want to beat up on the art because it's no different from what's happening in music, you know, like the money's gone out of the music biz, you know, so bands are just, you know, they're basically, labels are just signing bands for one song, one album, and then they're gone. Whereas forever till now, you know, until up to, you know, I don't know when, but like between 1950, basically, rough figures, between 1950 and say 2000, record labels would give the bands a few years, a few albums to develop, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now they just don't care. It's just like, there's no money in it, so get in, get out, you know? So it's cheapened the whole art form.
Okay.
And so that's there's similarities between that and the art world in that I think, like they say about the music, is what I say about the art, is people are scared to speak their mind because they'll lose their job. Whereas the whole point of art and music and writing and films is to speak your mind, regardless of whether it's popular or not, regardless of whether it'll sell or not, you know. Yeah. As soon as you try and fit in with the market or try and cater to the crowd, you're doomed.
Right.
You're doomed, you know.
Understood. Well, name something you love and why.
Something I love. I love being alive, but I just love the life of art and everything else that goes into it, and just, you know, the rest of it that doesn't get onto the canvas or isn't, you know, fun to talk about in interviews, you know, like it all goes in there, you know, friends and just hanging out, or, you know, going for a walk, or, you know, cooking or stuff like that, you know, it's all part of the same thing, you know. Mm-hmm. And
so what's your dream project? What would be like a dream? Virtual reality
art.
Ah, okay.
Something big, virtual reality. Okay. You know? Something that people can, because I've only done little bits, you know, like just sort of roughs. I just had a play in the virtual reality and it looks unbelievable. I don't know if you've done it, but it looks amazing. Wow. So it's a totally different format to canvas in that you're walking into a world, you know, like with paintings, you're walking up to a, you know, like in a way it's like a 2D world. It's still your world, people going into it. But this is a 3D world, you know, and you can walk amongst it, and it's so impressive, but it's just like not taken off yet. You know, that's what I want to do. Like,
now that's not holographic, or is
no, not holograms. No, okay. Virtual reality. So you have the goggles on.
Yes.
And you have like, it's the same setup as what gamers use. You know, you have the paddles as your brushes. Okay. And you're in a little room with goggles on, but what you see in the goggles is a whole world, and it's basically what you create is no drying time, which I like. It's very quick. And it's basically a cross between a painting and a sculpture.
Ah, wow.
In 3D space. It's so impressive.
Wow. Well, that does sound, I can't wait to see you do it.
Oh, yeah. Me too. I'm waiting to.
Okay. Well, name 3 artists you'd like to be compared to or have inspired you.
Inspired me. Picasso, top.
Okay.
Number 1. And there's a big gap between number 1 and number 2 because I didn't like his stuff until I saw it, you know. You know, you just see the normal stuff, you know, like the 1930s stuff, the Weeping Woman and all that, you know, you see that, what he's known for. But what actually, and I just thought, no, I don't like that, it's just too ugly. But then when I actually saw, just by chance, the first painting of his in the flesh was one from the Rose period. It was a boy leading a horse. I'll never forget it. It was about as tall as me. It was a 6 foot tall painting, right? And just the touch of it was completely different to what he's known for. You know, it was so soft. It was just so beautiful, and I was just stunned. You know, he's the top one for me. I have to give credit to Salvador Dali, because he's the first one that took me from thinking art is cartoons as a kid to thinking, wow, art looks like $1 million. His paintings look like, lavish, rich, lush, you know, just over the top, you know, like absolute different world to cartoons, you know what I mean? So I have to give him credit for getting me into fine art, you know, because before that I just didn't know about it, didn't like it, you know. And third one, he's not talked about much, and the movements sort of are not very popular because of what happened around in Germany at the time. But the German expressionists are really important to me, especially the main leader of the group called Ernst Ludwig Kirchner.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. You know, it's not, his stuff's not far from Matisse, and it's not far from what was sort of going down at the time, but there's some angle that he put on, you know, like that whole thing of, you know, just simplifying things to flat 2D and a little bit of 3D that I really took to, really got me, you know. And I said, I've never heard anyone else talk about him. To see his paintings is rare. I've only ever seen some woodcuts that he did, one painting. But yeah, Kirchner and the German expressionists as a movement were important to me too.
Excellent. Well, last question is, no, actually this is second to last. What memorable responses have you had to your artwork?
Well, I can't remember the exact words, but quite often, whether it's someone in the art world or someone that's not in the art world, they'll look at a painting and they'll say, I think it means this. And they're like almost exactly right.
Wow.
You know, and I full credit, what impresses me is the fact that they gave me their full opinion, knowing that it might not, you know, I might be a sensitive artist. I'm not sensitive at all. I don't care. Tell me that you hate it. I don't care. Just give me a response, you know. Right. But like when they get it right, when they're so close to what I was getting at, I'm simultaneously impressed by them interpreting it, and I'm impressed that I got the point across.
Excellent, excellent. What's the best advice you've been given?
None.
Best piece of advice you
None.
None at all?
No. I don't. Maybe I don't listen to advice, but maybe I'm too stubborn. But no. I find I get advice. I take advice from people I don't know, like interviews or, you know, right. Heroes of mine where I just read things, or I read something that they wrote or something like that. I take that.
Okay. You know? Well. What was, if you remember, like what was the best piece that you remember that you've read that's really impacted you and sort of helped you along your way?
Yeah, okay. Someone who's very important to me is Nick Cave from the band Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, right? Okay. And I'll never forget when they asked him about how he's gone through waves. He's been around since the 70s, right? And he's gone through waves of popularity, not popularity, all that. He's been around the block, right? Hardcore guy, amazing albums. And they said, well, how do you see the whole business? How do you see having a career in music? And I took this myself as to my career in art. And he said, don't fit in with trends.
Ah, okay.
You know, if you're unpopular, just cop it. Just keep doing what you're doing. Don't try and fit in with trends.
Excellent, excellent.
So he didn't tell me that directly. I took that as, yes, I agree, and I'm not going to just do abstract art because it's trending. I'm not going to do installations. I can't stand that stuff. You know, like, I'm just going to stick to what I do. If it works, good. If it doesn't work, what can I do?
Well, thank you. Now, what I'm going to do is just go through, I'm going to share my screen. And this is your show. This is your show.
So good. Done so well.
So just talk about this one. This one's entitled, We Lift Us with Light.
Yep.
Right?
That one means there's a fine line between saying, oh, well, life's all spiritual and, you know, it is what it is and there's nothing we can do to change it, and you getting on with the job of doing it. So to me, that is an expression of, yes, there's a spiritual element, light, you know, the white parts, right? But also part of that spiritual element is the purple parts coming in from the side. That's the bad that's always trying to stop you or to fulfill your destiny. So you've got these, you know, with light comes dark. So you've got these dynamics on you, but we still have to help each other. It's like a trinity, a trilogy of light and us, two or more people, you know.
So you have, as you mentioned, some really cool lengthy titles, which is good because it'll help. Let's look at this title here. Chaos 2020, and here comes Q.
Well, this is a bit of an interesting subject as to what's going on now. Everyone knows that, you know, 2020 has been pretty intense year. I can't remember a year like it since I've been alive, and everyone saying what the hell is going on. And Q is this whole movement of secret movement that's basically, you know, coming out of the shadows to bring justice to the world. It's a long, complicated thing, and it's still a mystery what they are or how they're going to do it or what the hell is going on. But I think out of all theories I've read about that it's going on, I think that is the most likely, that this chaos is happening because there's going to be a new order to the world. And if you really want to take it further back, you know, it's quite a biblical thing. Hence why there's a sword there going straight down onto the Bible, which is open to the 66th book, hence the R, Book of Revelation, right? And the A on the left and the on the left of the Bible is the Alpha sign, and on the right is the Omega sign, meaning that it's either right or wrong.
Right.
You know, so, but regardless of whether the Bible is right or wrong, we're getting hammered right now. We're getting absolutely pounded. So that's why it's with all the friction in there. And I think it's an exciting time, and I'm up for any theories. I'm not so stuck on my own theories that I have to fight with people about it. I don't care to fight.
Wow.
You know, that's what I think, and whatever you think is right too.
Thank you for sharing your art with us, and your show is going to open in a couple of days, actually. August 7th. Okay, well, I'm going to thank you very much, Benjamin L.M. from Australia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Having me.